Guys, this is the Unsmooth Criminal. This is going to be a one-shot, sorry, but I just don't have the energy to do this as a full series, but later I might. And I know most of you guys either played or heard of the game called Prototype. There's two in this series, Prototype and Prototype 2. First one follows the adventures of Alex Mercer with the Blacklight virus. Then follows the adventure of a very lovely man. Don't remember his name, but it follows his adventures stopping Mercer from releasing the virus anymore and stopping the virus from spreading. You guys know what the Blacklight virus does. It turns people into monsters. Well, I actually wanted to do this a while ago. What if Deku had the Blacklight virus? But I have a better idea. Well, it wasn't my idea. I think it was Corrupted Fox. Yeah, I think it was Corrupted Fox that said this. But the Nico Virus. So, how this virus gets spread is from contact with the patient zero's blood or any biological material from this patient. And the biological material reproduces on other living organisms. So it doesn't affect rats, it doesn't affect cats, it doesn't affect anything that isn't human. But if someone just shakes their hand with the patient zero, they're infected. And this virus only targets females. Only targets females. Turns all females into cat girls. So this one is, what if Femme Deku was patient zero of the Nico virus? So we start our story off with nothing happening. And once she turns 4, her quirk happens. And it's not a quirk that everybody will know or anybody will notice until she gets abducted by somebody. She gets abducted by the doctor for one, and I'm giving him a quirk. Dr. Ujiko gets a quirk called genetic reshuffle, where he can change the genetic code of any living creature to the genetic code of another animal. But, here's a big but. Izumi Midoriya's quirk is called genetic empath. And I know you guys are like, oh, empath means mental or emotional. No. Genetic empath means every female will be genetically identical to her if she wants. And she doesn't want people to be genetically identical to her. She just wants people to be like her, where they love each other and they don't fight each other. So her genetic empath is also what starts the virus. Because when Dr. Ujiko gave her a cat quirk with his genetic reshuffle, her genetic empath quirk evolved. So we skip to, and she's been missing for 6 years. We skip to the beginning of canon, and Bakugo hears of a outbreak of some sorts. And this is a female Bakugo, and she goes, an outbreak of what? And they go, we don't know. Apparently, all the girls in this one square block of this area started acting super nice, and they gained cat ears. And she goes, how nice? And they go, apparently they'll do anything for anybody, no matter who it is. And she goes, oh god, that's Izumi's quirk. And they go, who? And she goes, there's a quirk in the database called genetic empath. And she explains genetic empath to Aizawa and All Might, who were talking about this, because she is the successor for All Might. And he goes, okay. How does it work? Exactly. And she goes, anybody who's been infected by genetic empath, and it only targets females, sadly. That's the downside of this quirk. It only targets females. But anybody who's been affected by this quirk is a carrier for the virus. And she is literally a walking virus. And they go, what do you mean she's a walking virus? And Bakugo goes, exactly that. You release her into a society, all the females in that society turn to basically her personality. But it has no effect on the males. And he goes, okay, so what about the cat quirk thing? And she goes, it makes them a genetic copy if she had a mutation, which she does. And they go, wait, she does? And she goes, yeah. Her left eye has a crack down the center of it, and that's her genetic mutation. So anybody who you see a crack down the left eye of has been affected. And they go, so like them. And he points behind him. This auditorium has all these girls in it and full-grown women in it. They had cat ears, and each of them are looking at each other and being nice to each other. And Katsuki walks up to one of them, and she sees the crack in the eye, and she goes, yeah, they've been affected. And Aizawa goes, oh, crap. Well, so how does the personality work again? And she goes, oh, so their personality gets another layer to it. Their main personality switches from the whatever they were originally to a cinnamon roll. And he goes, like how Koda acts. And she goes, nicer and more outspoken. He goes, oh, crap. And she goes, yes, that's bad. And their original personality is hidden a little, but they still have it. So she goes, like Mirako. If Mirako is affected, which she can't be, because she already has she's already been affected. And they go, what do you mean she's been affected? Baku goes, I've also been affected. Mirako and I were the ones that saved her from the first attempt of being abducted from somebody. And we don't know who it was, but she was about to be abducted by somebody. Somebody with a black mask and a suit on. And All Might goes, that was probably all for one. And she goes, I don't know. Show me a picture of his face, I could tell you. Because another thing that comes with genetic empath is when you hurt one of the people that she's connected to with her genetic empath, she flips out, and you easily can get overpowered by how strong she gets. And they go, what do you mean? And she goes, watch. And she goes, can you please come here real quick? And they go, yeah, sure. You're Katsuki Bakugo, aren't you? And she goes, yes. I need you to do one little test, and then you're free to go. And she goes, sure, what is it? And so she pinches her and goes, 3, 2, 1, 0. And they hear an explosion from an abandoned building, like 10 blocks down. And this girl is walking up the street. And she goes, ah, crap. I forgot how powerful she gets. Oh, bye. I'm about to die. And Izumi walks up to Bakugo and goes, oh my god, Bakugo! Why the hell did you do it? And she's just plain all serious after having a smile because she sees Bakugo again. And Bakugo goes, I wanted to see if you're safe or not. And she goes, I wasn't. Now I am. And she hops on Bakugo going, mine. And Bakugo goes, wait, what? She goes, you're mine now. And Bakugo goes, what do you mean? And she goes, mine. And Dr. Ujiko is knocked out. All for One has his head cut in half from her because she does have claws. She has a tail and she has ears like a cat. So Bakugo gets affected by it because Bakugo gets affected again, so the genetic empath takes over again and gives her ears and a tail. So All Might sees that she's in slight discomfort and he asks, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, I just have a pain at the back of my lower back where my tailbone is. And oh crap. And they go, what? And she goes, fucking ears and a tail. And she pulls down the back of her pants just very slightly and a tail flops out. And Izumi goes, yeah. And she whispers something into Bakugo's ear, and Bakugo's face goes immediately red. And she goes, mine. And Bakugo goes, whoa, slow down, hold on. And she goes, mine. No one else, mine. And Bakugo goes, whoa, we can talk about this. And Izumi starts dragging Bakugo away to the dorms of UA. And Bakugo's like, help! And she's crying for help from Aizawa. And all the other people who were watching this scene are genetically empath to Izumi. So they're like, yeah, we're not messing with that. Because they have the sense of, you go near that, you get hurt. That's it. Ooh, 6:30. So we go, because it's already past the USJ, we go to the sports festival. Izumi has been introduced to everybody in class. Everybody's gotten this genetic empath quirk. And everybody has been affected. Shinso is in class 1A, and he is a she. So yes. Kitty Cat Shinso, and Aizawa loved this change. He didn't expect it coming, but he loved the change. And we go to the sports festival, and Nezu says, okay, word from our valedictorian, Katsuki Bakugo. And she walks up, and she goes, all the females in the crowd, I am sorry. And they're like, what? And she goes, everybody in the world is soon going to be affected and inflicted with the genetic empath quirk from her. And she points at Izumi, and Izumi's just smiling, having a good time, because she's playing with a little ball of yarn. And All for One gave her something really special. He gave her a transformation quirk, or a shape-shifting quirk, if you want to get more technical term. So she can shape-shift into whatever creature she wants. But she must know the genetic shape, or the shape, size, weight, everything about the creature. And she's in the form of a cat right now, playing with the ball of yarn. And Bakugo looks over at where she's pointing. She goes, "God damn it, Izumi!" And she yelled this in the mic, and Izumi got startled because she heard her name. And she transformed back and goes, "What?" And everybody's like, what? And she goes, "She's the one who is the infection that would have gone across the world, but no, now it's just going to go across the world and everybody's going to be cat girls. If you're already female." And she looks at the one kid who's not affected that is a female in the class. And she goes, "Except for her." Well, that person's a him right now. And he goes, "Hey, I want to be a cat girl." And Baku goes, "Okay. Hopefully everybody likes the sports festival, and hopefully everybody can do good in the sports festival." We get to the last round of the sports festival, and it's Shinso versus Izumi. And Shinso knows to not fight Izumi. Because when someone says they embrace their role, nobody does it better than Izumi, the cat girl. So she transforms into a frickin' panther and pounces on Shinso before she can react to anything. So Shinso's out of the ring. Midnight has black cat ears and a black cat tail. By the way, she's already been affected. Mirko has already been affected by the genetic empath, and since she had a animal mutation, she did not get affected by the cat quirk part. So Mirko is not a cat girl, she's still a bunny girl. For all you bunny Mirko shippers, you could ship her with Midnight if you want. I don't care. The sports festival ends like in canon, except for Deku is on top. And everybody else gets the same placements. Now, it's the teachers versus students. She has to fight against All Might, and Kasuki has to fight against All Might too. So it's the same group up, and he asked her if Kasuki wanted to share the quirk, because Kasuki knew about the sharing of the quirk early. And Kasuki goes, "No, she's too powerful. She'd be able to turn anybody into whatever the hell she wants if her genetic empath quirk evolved again." And he goes, True. And he looks at her and goes, "So I gotta focus on her first, knock her out, then get her." And he's like, "Okay, I'm ready." And he gets in a fighting stance, and he doesn't have his weights on because of how powerful they are. And Izumi transforms into a little kitten. And she disappears out of nowhere. Because she acted like nothing was happening when she was with All Might. Or not All Might. All for One. So All for One just kept giving her quirks, thinking, why is she not taking any of the quirks? But really, her genetic empath was just taking the quirks, but keep letting him keep the quirks because it had a nasty effect against All for One. So she has any kind of quirk you could think of, so she's hella overpowered. So she uses shadow travel to go from the little kitten right next to Kasuki, who started going, "Oh, so cute," right there to behind All Might, transforming into a giant tiger. No, not tiger. A liger. Because ligers are bigger than tigers and lions. So she transforms into a liger, and she pounces on All Might, pushing him underneath the weight of her. And she roars in his face, and the fear of a wild animal, is a fight or flight response from All Might, and the fear from a giant tiger / lion thing. He was freaking out so much because apparently it just got released behind him, so he didn't register that this was Izumi, and he just passed out from fear. And she teleported back to next to Katsuki and said, "Let's go." And she went into small little kitty cat form or kitten form and hopped on her shoulder and said, and just meowed. And she goes, "Oh, sure." And she's scared of Izumi whenever she goes into kitten form, because it means Izumi is very, very, very playful at that moment, and she's not getting any sleep that night. So we move on to the training camp. Mandalay has actually ears and a real tail. Pixie Bob, same thing. Ragdoll, same thing. Tiger still has to wear the fake stuff. Mandalay's quirk actually evolved after getting affected by a genetic empath, so they could talk back to her. But she can only listen to one voice at a time. And she can project another person's voice when she touches somebody. So her quirk evolved. Pixie Bob's quirk stayed the same. Ragdoll's quirk evolves because she can now teleport to anybody she's marked, but she cannot teleport to multiple people after she cannot consecutively teleport. She has to teleport, let it recharge, and then she can teleport again. That's how it evolved. So the forest incident happens, and Toga sees Izumi again, and Izumi says, "Follow me." And Toga gladly does it, because she kind of wants Izumi's blood, and she thinks Izumi would look cuter with blood dripping down. And Izumi says that, "I'll give you as much blood as you want if you pledge your allegiance to me." And she's getting into the mindset of, I'm the end-all be-all god in this world now, because all women are following me, and I have enough quirks to eradicate this world if I want. So Toga's like, "Yeah, as long as you bleed, I'll follow you." And she goes, "Okay." And she walks back to the lodge with everybody. He's being teleported by her shadows and appearing in the front of the lodge. And Katsuki was teleported by the shadows and like, "Holy crap, this is weird. Holy crap." And she's right outside the lodge, and everybody else is inside the lodge, like wondering what happened. And Katsuki sees Izumi walking up with Toga and just talking to Toga. And she goes, "Oh god, not again." And Izumi's like, "We got another friend." And she goes, "Okay. Friend for what?" And she goes, "You know." And she goes, "Oh crap." So they have fun that night. No one sleeps. Well, the females don't sleep. The males sleep like babies. What else? So it's now the licensing exams. Everybody passes, except for Todoroki and the Wind Dude. They were still bickering. And Izumi's like, that guy that is proctoring needs sleep. And so she made a bubble around him so he couldn't see anything. And he immediately passed out because it was a sensory deprivation bubble. So he couldn't see, hear, or do anything. And he tried talking, but nothing would come out. So he's like, "I'll just sleep." And he slept, and as I was like, "Oh, I don't want to sleep." And his wife, Miss Joke, is sitting right next to him going, "If you sleep, you're not getting any of my kitty tonight." And he hears this, he goes, "I'm not sleeping." And a bubble is starting to form around him, and someone appears in front of him, and he goes, "You sure?" I could put you in a bubble together. And he looks at Miss Joke, and Miss Joke goes, yes. And she goes, this bubble will stay up for 24 hours, can't be broken by even All Might. So have fun. And she makes the bubble and just disappears. They have fun. It's now the Overhaul arc, because Izumi went with, who would she go with? She'd go with Mirko if she could. Yeah, she'd go with Mirko if she could. And Katsuki wanted to get away from Izumi, so she went with Night Eye. And Night Eye Katsuki saw Bubble Girl and saw that she had blue ears and a blue tail and goes, oh crap, even here too? And Bubble Girl goes, hey, I heard that your friend is the starting of this virus. And she points her ears, and Katsuki goes, yeah, about that, sorry. And she goes, oh, no, you misunderstand what I was about to say. I want to thank her. Everybody's nicer to me. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of a curse, though. And she goes, what do you mean? And before she could explain what the curse is, Nadia goes, so you're the intern? And she goes, yes, sir. And he goes, follow me. And he looks pissed the frick off. And he's like, oh, why did I have to get this cat girl? I wanted the other cat girl. The one with the friggin' virus quirk. And he looks at her and goes, so, what's your quirk? And she goes, oh, my quirk's explosion. I'm also affected by the empath quirk, so if something hurts me, you're about to get your ass whooped. And he goes, oh, okay. And she does the same thing that she had the same test as Izuku and Canon. And she's like, that's the rarest. Definitely don't step on that. And she basically marks all of the posters when she first walked in the room just by sight. And so she starts bouncing around the room like a crazed, like a cat on catnip. She's bouncing around the room. She's bouncing around the room like Roman Mina and Roman Helsis type in the chat. And when you put catnip in the chat. Oh, God, it's crazy. So that means you guys gotta enter in Discord and see what kind of shenanigans we get up to in the Discord, because it's fun in the Discord. You guys need to join. So, she's bouncing around. She's having fun. Messing with Night Eye. And she's just toying with him. She could easily grab the thing, even though he activated his quirk on her. She could easily grab it, because every few seconds, it goes black. His vision goes black. He can't see the feature. And then she's like, I want to do this. And so she does it. And he sees that she's doing this to do this. And he's like, I'll do this. And she goes, nah, I'm going to do this now. In the middle of the first move. And his vision goes black. He's like, what the hell are you? And she goes, I'm a monster. That ends the little thing. And so Katsuki bumps into Overhaul and Eri, and Eri has no ears yet. And Eri bumps into Katsuki, and she sees the little horn, and she goes, ooh, so it's that kind of a mutation. And she sees Overhaul, and she's like, sir, is this your daughter? And Eri starts shaking when she hears daughter, and she goes, oh, crap. And she goes, give me 1 minute. And she calls up Night Eye and goes, hey, boss. And she's acting like she doesn't know Overhaul's a criminal. And she goes, hey, boss, we may have a situation later. Just wanted to let you know because I might be a little late. And she says like she's going to be late after patrol to do something else later. And it's important for her to do something else later. And he's understanding this entire thing, being like, something happened. There may be a situation with a certain quirk that could be very dangerous for people. So he's like, okay, come in when you're ready and we'll discuss the situation and your lateness. And Overhaul's hearing this entire conversation and she goes, thank you. And she goes, please go back. And she shrinks down to Aries' side, or kneels down to Aries' side and says, it'll be okay, you'll be fine. And she pushes Aries back and he goes, good girl. And he pushes her along and goes, thank you, and just keeps walking. Later that night, you hear from UA the biggest explosion possible. And all Overhaul is thinking is, the fuck is happening? One of his goons is a mutation quirk hater. So he punches Aerie every single night, and Aerie's mutation quirk, Rewind, takes care of it. And it heals overnight. But he punched Aerie when she had ears and a tail. And he saw this and he got even more disgusted with Aerie, so he punched her even harder. The explosion goes off. Izumi's behind Aerie and hugs Aerie, saying, you're going to be fine now. Just sleep. And she taps Aerie on the forehead and closes her eyes, saying, just sleep. Everything will be fine. And Aerie drops into a black puddle that's on the ground. And this is not just any old black puddle. This is a black puddle of shadows. Aerie fell into it and disappeared. And her and Izumi's eyes are glowing red. Being like, you touched my people. And he's like, your people? The hell? And she goes, you touched my people. You shall die now. And she knows exactly how much pain Aerie went through that day because the quirk was taking hold that day. So she felt every single drop of pain. And when she could actually think straight and she got punched in the face without actually getting punched in the face, that's when she's like, okay, this is it. This is over. I need to solve this. So she shows up in front of the goons, wiping them out in milliseconds. And Overhaul is currently running down the hallway at breakneck speeds because he is slow as hell, because he never runs anywhere, because he is the temporary boss of the Yakuza. And he sees her and goes, who the hell are you? And she goes, I'm the curse upon this world, and I'm the blessing upon this world. I am the cat hero. Infection. And he hears infection. He's like, you're the one who started that damn disease. And she goes, no, I didn't start a disease. I cured the world of abuse. And he goes, what do you mean? And she goes, any violent crime against females or females onto males, I can know about. And he goes, oh, but I'm still killing you. And she goes, you can try to touch me if you want. And she's just starting to laugh, and she's currently in a goth outfit. And he runs up to her trying to touch her. Nothing happens. He runs at her again, trying to touch her. He still doesn't get a hand on her. And she's just falling through the floor, falling through the floor, falling through the floor, falling through the floor. And she's like, this quirk from this girl named Neo is really good. Let me bring out the shatter time. And so the entire room starts to glow. And yes, this is going to be spoilers for a new What If. And I wanted to do this What If for a while, so this is going to be a very good and bad What If. So, she is showing something that he's terrified of. And she then finally knocks him out and leaves the building. Everybody in the building is seeing this monster, and they're absolutely terrified of it. Oh, do you guys want me to bring them back the what if Deku was Scarecrow from DC? That's another question. And so she gets outside and she sees the pro heroes, and she goes, the explosion didn't happen that long ago. How the hell are you here already? And Katsuki walks up going, I'm the one who infected the little girl. And she goes, oh! Well, I just did your jobs for you. Go round them up. And all the cops run in, and all the criminals are screaming their heads off and freaking out. So Izumi's like, yeah, that was fun. Let's do it again later. And Katsuki's like, yeah, let's not. And I'm going to end it there. This was a very, very, very funny What If. What if Deku was the start of a genetic plague upon this world, like the Black Virus? So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is just a funny What If. It didn't last that long, because I'm going to hopefully upload a new series, or finish a series tonight, then upload the new part to the next series tonight. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed.